Communication is one of those terms that's thrown a lot now, but it is still evolving in India. And its core, it is about translating complex policy ideas into narratives, resonate with people, be it stakeholders, media, lawmakers, or citizens. It's not about just speaking, it's about connecting in two different states with completely two different approaches. The first was in agriculture, where we organized a high level roundtable in Jaipur to launch a campaign aimed at enabling 2 million women in the agri value chain by 2030. This required deep engagement with government stakeholders, grassroots narratives, and building a message that could travel from the ground up. The second was in public health, where we convened a national level discussion in Delhi focused.
Hello, folks. Welcome to today's episode of NEF Charcha. We're diving into a fascinating subject, how policy communication is shaping up in India. And to guide us through this evolving landscape, we have someone whose journey in this space has been anything but conventional. We have Sumit Kaushik with us. Welcome, first of all, to our platform, Sumitji.
Nishant, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and to finally be talking about this. It's something that is very close to my heart.
Yeah. So, without any further ado, I should start with my first question. How did your journey into policy communication begin?
Yeah. Uh, well, like most good things in life, by accident, honestly, I did not set out thinking I want to get into policy communication. My journey has always been a bit non-linear. I stumbled into it while working on a few campaigns where communication intersected with policy and social impact. And before I knew it, I was deep into it.
Oh my God, that's really fascinating. Means you were doing something else and somehow it happened accidentally. Okay. So, from an accidental start to now landing into multi sector mandates, how has the ride been?
Uh, I would say it's been an absolute roller coaster in the best possible way. I worked with corporates, civil society organizations, associations, even individuals across sectors like health, education, agriculture, environment, human rights, you name it. And the thing is, each mandate teaches you something new. What works for health policy might not work for agriculture, and that's where the beauty lies. It keeps you on your toes. It's a learning process, and I say this often, it's a learning every single day.
Mm. Oh, that's a good change into our next theme. What actually is policy communication, really?
Well, it's a tricky question, Nishan, because policy communication is one of those terms that's thrown a lot now, but it is still evolving in India. And its core, it is about translating complex policy ideas into narratives, resonate with people, be it stakeholders, media, lawmakers, or citizens. It's not about just speaking, it's about connecting, and it's a mix of strategy, empathy, timing, and of course, storytelling.
Okay, I mean it's a kind of mix of everything. So, in your experience, how is policy communication changing in India? I mean, this is not really the start. It has been there since a long time. You have been practicing it since a long time. So, how is it changing?
Definitely, it is changing. It is getting more traction. A few years ago, the space was very niche, but now organizations, whether they're in development sector or corporate world, are realizing that communication is not an afterthought. It has become central to policy advocacy. We are seeing more structured campaigns, more data led narratives, and more engagement from parliament to panchayats. Policy communication is becoming sharper and even more intentional.
Okay, I mean, let's move a bit. I mean, that brings us to what are the some tools and mechanisms that you use in policy communications? I mean, it is a very niche kind of subject, right? So there must be something extraordinary, something different, which must you must be using.
See, there's no one size fits all. Each mandate has its own dynamics and sensitivities. So you can't have a copy paste approach. Some common tools include media management, stakeholder advocacy, government engagement, social media strategy, grassroots storytelling, policy briefs, even strategic silence sometimes. It's really about knowing when to speak, what to say, and whom to say it to. And yes, I always say have a plan B and sometimes a plan C. Uncertainty is a part of the game and you have to welcome it.
I mean, when you said that sometimes you have to stay silent, that made me remember John F. Kennedy when you actually,
Certainly.
during the Cuban Missile Crisis, this was actually what he said, that sometimes
Certainly.
silence is
Yeah.
the best thing that you can do.
Correct.
So, whatever you have said, actually, it sounds like a high stake creative process, right?
Yeah, it is. Policy communication is not rocket science, but you do need a certain mindset, a fair, logical, and grounded approach. Risk appetite definitely helps. Sometimes you have to take a spontaneous stand, and other times you play the long game. But if your messaging is honest, strategic, and backed in with intent, it lands.
Okay, that's a wide spectrum of experience. Do you have any example of recent campaign, where you saw policy communication really come alive?
Oh, well, absolutely. In fact, just this week, I worked on two different policy mandates in two different states with completely two different approaches. The first was in agriculture, where we organized a high level roundtable in Jaipur to launch a campaign aimed at enabling 2 million women in the agri value chain by 2030. This required deep engagement with government stakeholders, grassroots narratives, and building a message that could travel from the ground up. The second was in public health, where we convened a national level discussion in Delhi focused on safe blood practices, a very technical and sensitive issue, especially for people with conditions like thalassemia who rely on regular transfusions. The tone here was much more policy heavy and medically nuanced, but still required a compelling communication framework. But if I had to pick one of the most interesting campaigns I have worked on, it would be around managing severe acute malnutrition in India. This one took me straight to the heart of the issue into villages, tribal belts, field visits across multiple states. It was a beautiful mix of media advocacy, government relations, and creativity. We worked on a documentary film and even curated a photo exhibition come panel discussion with just the right stakeholders in the room. That was a
That's
moment where we truly moved the needle. Something that had been stuck for over 12 years was finally brought back into focus and action followed. So, those are the small, cheerful wins that make it all worthwhile.
that's really that story really touched. Working with people and working with for causes to eradicate thalassemia, going to villages, going to the remotest corner of India. That is someone. I mean, everyone strives. Whoever wants to contribute to nation building would strive to go and work in those areas and contribute even slightly to nation building. That's really a great story. Now, since you have been working in this space for quite a long time, you have gained a lot of experience. Someone who is very new to this field, when we put on this post in LinkedIn saying that we'll be having you as our guest, a lot of people actually contacted us saying that how should we go about building a career in public policy. So, this question is for you is this that if someone wants to get into this space, what would be the advice that you'd like to give him?
Uh, I mean, there's no single standard advice, but always be curious, read a lot, connect with right stakeholders, be okay with uncertainty, and more importantly, listen. Policy communication is less about talking and more about understanding. Each sector will teach you something new, so do not rush to become an expert. Enjoy the learning curve. Also, be open to working on different kind of mandates. The diversity is what builds your depth.
That's a great advice, actually. What happens is that after the coming of real, real yug, you can say, a lot of people have started, losing their attention span. They want to speak more and listen less, and that
That's a
that
problem.
that has
Yeah.
been the trend. So that's a great advice that you gave, that you need to listen more and speak less. My next question is, what is next? What is the next project that you're planning, and what is next for you? Because during this period of conversation, what really fascinated me is the kind of adventure that you have gone. Whether it is working with the government stakeholders, whether it is working with the in the hinterlands of India, remotest place of India, you have done it all. So it would be really exciting to know what actually is next for you.
So, Nishant, I'm always open to working on more interesting and complex projects, especially those that make me a real difference. I genuinely believe that policy communication is only going to grow in India, and I want to be a part of that momentum, whether it is with the governments, development sector partners, or thought leaders. So, yes, learning continues.
Okay, so my final question: one word that you like to describe your policy communication journey. I know it is very tough for you to describe everything, encapsulate everything, and bring it in one word. But even if then you would have to describe it in one word, what would be that?
Evolving, because every project, every client, every stakeholder, they add something new to the journey. So I would say evolving is a one word.
Okay, I mean that's. I was thinking that it would be not enough that a word would be encapsulating everything, but evolving is something that, this really goes on with the kind of work you are doing. And when I asked you the previous question also, that the answer that you gave, it was kind of like the evolving word encapsulates the things you are doing currently. So it was a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you, and it was really a learning experience also for me. So how about you? Did you enjoy or not?
I enjoyed it very much, and thanks to you and NEF team for facilitating this conversation. Sincere huge thanks to you and the NEF team. Yeah,
Thank you, thank you, thank
thank you.
you. I'm really glad that we had this. Thank you.
Thanks, Nishant.